spring, I bought a lot of blues and greens and yellow papers because those were colors that I typically use for our spring and summer photos. And I have used some of these papers, but I still have quite a bit left. I bought almost the entire collection of Pebbles Family Ties, and I've used, say, some pieces of these, but I haven't really used a lot of whole sheets. So I need to start moving some of this product out. I also have a 6x6 pad here from Echo Park that was on sale that coordinated, and I got that. I went through my photos and found a bunch of photos that go with these blues and greens from a couple of different events. These are just the things that are printed out. And so I decided I would do a layout focusing on these materials, because usually I start with the photos and work the other way around, but this time I'm starting with the materials and looking for photos. The photos I've decided on are these two from up in the mountain areas of our state. And here's my sketch. I'm going to put my two photos side by side and then use one of these papers as a background and another paper here on the foreground folded down, a place for some journaling. I think this large element I'm going to make a large flower, like to echo one of these Black-Eyed Susans here, just a large daisy kind of flower, and then some other elements down here. I may do some leaves. I don't know how that will work with a flower and leaves together on a layout, but that's what I'm thinking of. So it's a pretty simple page, but it's a page designed to bring in quite a bit of paper product and get some of my photos scrapped as well.
So I'm going through my papers. This first paper here matches really well, but the back of it I have flagged for another project. I'm fairly sure I want to use that green. That looks really good with the photos. And there's a little blueprint there that's a possibility. I know I love the stripe. I love striped papers, and they work well to bring in all the different colors. I'm going to use some yellow since I have some yellow flowers in there. I'm considering maybe cutting flowers up instead of those leaves I was talking about, so I set that paper aside. And I have several then from this collection that, of course, are all coordinated to go together, and we'll make putting the layout together fairly quick. It's just deciding which paper goes best for the photos, which one the photos are going to look better lying on, whether it's the yellow, the blue-green print, or the green print. And I decided that the green print would probably be the best for the photos, and I'm going to use the blue-green for the main background. I can't turn that green print though back because the back side of it just doesn't work. It's some bird images there, the little birdhouse and stuff, really cute, but not something you can fold back. So instead of the folding back, I'm actually going to create a flap with some yellow paper. I've looked at the yellow check. I know I want to use that stripe down towards the bottom. I have this other yellow paper though that would make a good flap, and I'm considering doing the floral down, just the whole strip of that down at the bottom. In the end, I decided to do the yellow check at the bottom and then do the other yellow paper as the flap going down. I have a tendency to go towards the simpler papers. Now, for my background here, or for that big section of green, I need to figure out where to trim that off. And my sketch is designed so that it's on a scale of 1 to 2. So if it's, I've measured across there, and if it's 4 inches across there, that means it's 8 inches on the actual layout. So I move over 8 inches, and then on my sketch, it was 2 inches down on the sketch, which means it's 4 inches down. So I'm just going to cut across there on my paper trimmer, and then I'll create my flap. For the what looks like the background, just that corner up there, I don't use the whole sheet. This is how I end up with so much paper. I'm going to cut that apart, and I'm not going to use that entire sheet because I just don't need it. I just really don't need to waste that much paper. So I'm going to trim it at about 5 inches. And we'll still use plenty of that paper up at the top. So I have that trimmed down. I've trimmed my little diagonal there, and I'm ready to do the flap. Just folded a piece of the yellow paper on my Martha Stewart scoreboard, and I'm marking, kind of eyeballing where I think I want my fold to be, my flap to be, the point of it, and drawing that in with the ruler. I was going to take this to the paper trimmer and cut it, but I figured out fairly quickly that wasn't going to work well with the paper trimmer, so it would be easier just to cut this with scissors. And then I'll cut the end off once I get it glued on. Then I can glue all of that down and trim off that side. I decided not to distress the edges of any of this. I wanted it to have very clean lines, very clean look to it. And I've got some pencil marks there. The one thing I have a tendency to do is make really too dark pencil marks, not make them light enough, but I got them off out of the way. And then the photos need a little bit of trimming off. They have too wide a border to them. Down at the bottom, it looks like I need 2 inches of that yellow paper down at the bottom. So I can trim some of my green off and save that for something else, because a little green polka dot I can use for a lot of things. And I'll put some a strip of stripe paper there and a 2-inch strip of the yellow check down at the bottom. And then the title can go across the top. I've decided to do the title in 2 parts because it's going to say Mountain Views, and I just don't have enough room on the diagonal to do all of that. So I'm putting views right across the top of the photo in these bright bold letters. I'll put on the screen which set of letters these are. These are fairly new ones. I've only had them a few months. They're from American Crafts. I just don't remember which ones they are. And these are some very old stickers from Basic Grey. And I'm going to mix my case here, and I think it still will work. I don't have a ton of room there either, so it's kind of just as well I'm mixing the case. I don't think it would have all fit in uppercase. That was originally the Oliver collection from Basic Grey. Okay, my flower will be cut on the Cricut using the Accent Essentials cartridge, doing the big daisy. And I'm going to cut it out of a few different colors of cardstock. I want to keep it kind of simple since I have so much pattern paper. I cut a couple of these. I didn't need but 2 different colors, but I do think they need a little bit more going on to them, so I'm adding a little bit of yellow ink to the edge for distressing, giving them a little shading. And then I'll put those 2 together with a brad from My Mind's Eye. And I laid them there and thought about them for a minute and decided that they did need to be curled. Very often I curl paper flowers to give them a little bit of extra dimension. And I'm just using my paper piercer to curl the edges of just the top flower. I've still got to put my journaling on, and my leaves are from Studio Calico, and I decided I would try creating a line vein for them with Versamark and some clear embossing powder, with the idea being that it would be white that would show through when I misted them. I didn't know how well this would work because that's canvas leaves, and I don't know how well the embossing is going to take to that. So I'm giving it a try here. And I'm just going to heat that up and mist it, and I'll do the misting off camera. I'm just going to spray some October Afternoon mist on it, and you can see the vein impression. It didn't come out really, really white. I didn't think it would because this was canvas as opposed to paper, but it still gave me a little bit of an idea there with the leaves, enough that I decided to try it on the other 2. Alright, I have a lot of blue up there at the top and not much at the bottom, so I printed my journaling in a blue print, and I'm going to back it with some, or mat it with some designer paper from that 6x6 pad that I mentioned earlier to bring out some more blue towards the bottom of the page. I have a sticker from October Afternoon that looks better on the left-hand side. It talks about taking a walk outside, so it's appropriate. And I've got some twine here. Usually I do a couple of rows of twine. I think one's going to be sufficient. And there again, bringing in some more blue, of the blue accent color, since I have so much green and yellow on the page. So I'll just wrap that around and tie it in a bow over top of that one leaf. And so here's our finished page. I did go over those leaves at the bottom with a white gel pen You can see my photos, my sketch, they look a little short. They're actually a little bit longer than that. The title in 2 parts. I added a tab sticker on the side for the date. And then have the floral embellishments. And bringing the blue down to the bottom of the page with the journaling, the cord, and a little bit of the stripe. So let's look at these close up. The folded paper, and again I used a white gel pen to accent those leaves a little bit more. So thanks for watching today, and be sure and check out my blog for the sketch.